take a look now at how Canadians are feeling about things in general, because almost every single day for the past 3 weeks, we've been talking about numbers that have been describing how our economy is deteriorating almost on a daily basis. And so we turn now to Nik Nanos of Nanos Research, who has been in the field taking the mood of Canadians. Nik, welcome to PowerPlay. Nice to have you here.
Great to be here.
Let's take a look now at some of your numbers that have just come out, because I think that they're startling in one regard. But let's begin with Canadians. We call it Canadians on the edge. This is sort of the edgy question. 49% of them think that the economy will weaken in the next 6 months. Maybe that's partially because people like me have been telling them that it's going to weaken in the next 6 months. But look at this one. They say real estate value won't change in the next 6 months. Now, I look at those numbers and I go, huh? How can you believe that the economy will go south in the next 6 months, but that the price of your house is probably not going to change? How do you square that?
Well, you know, it's quite interesting. When you look at the trend in regards to the economy getting worse, it's actually better than it was 90 days ago. 90 days ago, about 57 to 58% of Canadians thought the economy was going to get worse, and now we're down to 49 or 48. So, you know, it's still a terrible number, but, you know, what the trend shows in regards to rolling up all the numbers is that they're starting to stabilize. You know, Canadians are still very pessimistic, but maybe we're hitting the bottom of the trough, at least, in regards to the psychological impact of the downturn in the economy.
Here's a number really that makes your point, also out of your survey, and it's on job security. This one really struck me. 67% of Canadians say that their job is secure, and only 19% are saying their job is not secure. So is that an indication that psychologically, at least, a majority, almost more than 2/3 of Canadians, feel that whatever else is going on out there, they're okay?
Absolutely. Actually, those numbers over the long period have been fairly stable. But, you know, the thing is, think of it this way. 19% is about 1 out of every 5 Canadians. So if you're walking down Main Street in your hometown, that means 1 out of every 5 of your neighbors is insecure in their job. So, you know, the good news is that there's still a significant majority of Canadians who feel good about their job and secure, but there's kind of like that bottom 20% that are worried about what's going on.
And I would suspect, too, Nik, that it would break down in terms of different sectors in the economy as well. I mean, there are some sectors that are going to do well. Frankly, I think if you're a civil servant or want to become a civil servant, life's going to be pretty good. Big government is back, and they need people to work for them. Yet, on the other hand, if you work in the auto sector or the forestry sector, you might be a little bit more worried. I mean, is that a fair statement to make?
Absolutely. Actually, when we look at some of the micro samples out there, it's those areas, say, for example, in the 905 in southwestern Ontario, which has a lot more manufacturing, for example, that is a lot more jittery about the economy. You know, even when you get into the GTA and areas like the National Capital Region, they're not as jittery about the state of the economy. You know, they're worried, but it's a different kind of worry. So, you know, we definitely see those regional pockets of fear and uncertainty out there.
Let me take a look at one more of your numbers, and this is how, you know, the question that you asked was, have your finances changed in the past year, and if so, how? And take a look at this. 15% they say that they are better off in the last year. Those must be civil servants. Worse off, 32%. But look at this, no change, 50%. And when you take a look at those numbers, certainly it's not an overwhelming sense of Canadians that things are getting bad. I'm just wondering whether Canadians maybe are, you know, weathering this storm a little bit better than people gave us credit for.
Yeah, I think we are weathering the storm. The other thing is, I wouldn't underestimate the desensitization that's likely taking place. Think of it this way. If we were at war, at the beginning of the war, we'd be shocked and appalled about everything that happened. It would be sensational, and every casualty and so forth. But over time, Canadians become desensitized. And I think, you know, when we're looking at the economic bad news, they have a significant impact at the beginning. But when you get announcement of layoff after announcement of layoff after announcement of layoff, you get desensitized until it potentially touches you or your household directly. And I think psychologically that might be where we're at right now, where it's just everyday Canadians, you know, watch the TV news and it's just more bad news, and it's just, they're desensitized.
They're turning it off. Nik Nanos, thank you very much for giving us this State of the Union address, is what I would call it. Much appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, Power Play is